If you can break through that, you'll be well on your way to 74,000 and truthfully likely even higher. Once again, I believe this line breaks, I predict that you will likely stall near 74 before bursting through. According to Robert Kiyosaki, Bitcoin's value might reach $350,000 by the middle of 2024 if current trends continue. Willy Woo, a crypto entrepreneur, speculates that the current Bitcoin surge may come to an end as Bitcoin investment grows more popular. There is a lot of space for growth considering that Bitcoin only accounts for 4.7% of market capitalization at the moment. The future of Bitcoin is bright, according to Kiyosaki and Woo. Vice President Felix Lowe of El Salvador thinks Bitcoin is essential for breaking away from fiat currencies like the US dollar. He stresses the legislative initiatives that aim to include cryptocurrency into the country's economy. Views Bitcoin as essential to achieving economic independence for El Salvador and breaking away from fiat money. Since going back to the colon would be too expensive, we're looking into ways to incorporate cryptocurrencies instead. The goal of El Salvador's digital assets law is to promote economic liberalization through the inclusion of digital assets, tokens, and cryptocurrencies. As an example of the possible economic advantages of Bitcoin, its adoption is thought to be reviving the tourist industry. Bitcoin without a delay. This is fascinating stuff, I tell you. What? You check Bitcoin now and there's hardly any change today. That is really important to me. I will explain to you why. What it signifies is, once again, the important thing. While gold, treasuries, and the dollar are all experiencing safe haven asset rallies, Bitcoin is hardly making a dent. Since I have faith in Bitcoin for the long haul, I interpret this to suggest that for the time being at least, still it has not yet achieved the status of a safe haven asset. With everything out of the way, what are the levels that I've spent the whole week covering with you? We have once again chopped around. A daily closure below this level would be considered bearish for the chart. That level is practically it. In addition, if we ascend to this peak, there is a line that passes directly through it. I will endeavor to depict it here, if imperfectly. Once you surpass it, you'll be racing at 74,000 and, to be honest, possibly even higher. You will likely hit a wall at 74 and then explode past it since this line breaks. Therefore, we will observe to determine its outcome. This time around, we're leaning slightly bullish. AB will do for that. There will be adverse sentiment if it drops below this level. Those two are probably both BS. All right, let's do a plus and a minus here. If you manage to climb above this, it's like a B. Really, that would be a bold move. So we're in the sweet spot where the modestly positive mood and technical bias are still hanging on. I couldn't care less about intraday fluctuations provided you consistently close below that level. On numerous occasions, you have been below intraday. Everything comes down to the daily close, and the weekly close is arguably even more crucial. Solana, which remains on the inferior side, deserves some attention here. Solana is putting the finishing touches on a handful of important levels. Technical assistance is going to be located here just below 140. This lower one, about 120, is actually what I'm after. It's that low pivot. It also extends all the way to this spot. Thus, the 120 level is well supported. Although it is a weaker level now that we've struck it twice, I would still be willing to buy it if it flushes down there because 2 hits is better than 1. On the 3rd hit, you will typically still bounce. You need to exercise extreme caution when you reach levels 4 and 5. When it comes to hits of trend lines, that's my 2 pennies worth of information. I thought gold was going to jump a bit today, wasn't it? Gold is hence seeing price appreciation. No worries. In general, it remains pessimistic. Here is where we may make a comparison. On the other hand, you have the wide range bar at your disposal and can hack away at it. That pattern is something we face daily. In this section of the strategy, we address that pattern. Overall, it's still negative. Is it feasible that you may begin trading over that if we witness increased global instability? Yes, at which point the bullish probabilities will supersede the bearish pattern. However, you would grade it a B minus, which is bearish and indicates a negative bias in terms of probabilities, as long as we remain in this move. For the pre-market, what role does the SP play? Weakness is emerging, but it's not overwhelming. This is especially concerning because a small number of companies have been dominating the market for so long, the $6 trillion companies whose valuations range from $1 trillion to more than $3 trillion, and they have been dictating the NASDAQ 100 and the SP 500. However, we have noticed a hint of frailty this morning. Yesterday we closed here. This is where we've come clean. A small amount of bouncing is happening. I would want to explain everything in detail. Two things transpired at this location. First and foremost, the dollar-yen, which is the dollar's value relative to the yen, had quite the roller coaster ride overnight. For the currency markets, this is akin to an earthquake once again. A huge deal! What the fuck happened? So the Bank of Japan and the Bank of Japan both announced plans to decrease their balance sheets and bond purchases. This is a significant departure from the policies of the Japanese central bank, and the resulting overnight volatility has investors worried about the stability of the global financial system. The dollar-yen has, once again, seen this erratic movement. We all know that the Japanese central bank had to step in around a month ago due to the USD yen's seemingly endless ascent, but once again, this is the kind of item that is causing widespread market anxiety this morning. Looking at the CAC, the French stock market, we can see that this is the daily chart of the CAC, so we can add this to the global insecurity, if you will. Take a look at this rollover. It's just been 1 week, a 6% drop. When compared to where it was merely a month or two ago, the difference is striking. You've noticed a significant decline and downturn. Everything boils down to the fact that France is currently experiencing a great deal of political turmoil. Indeed, a question was put to one of the French officials: could this lead to a financial catastrophe? Yes, that was the response. That's unusual for a government person to remark. Still, we've witnessed it all again today. Compare the decline in CAC prices from yesterday and today to see how the chaos persists. Now we have this situation where things are beginning to shake all around the globe, plus things in the US are still very steady. Inflation has begun to decline, despite the fact that the employment market appears to be contracting in light of yesterday's initial claims number and certain other statistics. Still, the VIX was pushed higher by it. The volatility index VIX did rise in the overnight session, albeit it has since fallen slightly. Now let's take a look at the VIX. Notice the overnight movement, it has returned as things are becoming more stable. The buyers here include institutions and individual investors seeking portfolio protection. Therefore, institutions are increasing the volatility index VIX by purchasing extra contracts. The VIX goes up essentially whenever volatility surges. In a nutshell, the VIX goes up as anxiety levels rise. When there is little to no external threat, the VIX index rises again. Thus, it is clear that protection is a hot commodity on the market right now. All right, therefore, let's approach this rationally. In your opinion, what would transpire? In a world where everyone is afraid, where would the money go? Furthermore, assets in a safe haven should be the response. What exactly are assets that are considered to be safely invested, such as the US dollar, bond market, and gold?